Welcome to Collective Guidance with your host, Charla Goodnight. This is a space where we come together to share wisdom, stories, and insights from thought leaders and everyday humans alike. Here, you'll find conversations on spirituality, health, wellness, parenting, and the human experience, all designed to remind you that you are not alone and that we are all connected. Let's step into the guidance we can only find together. Welcome to Collective Guidance with your hosts, Charla Goodnight and Keri Johnson. Yay! Hey, Keri, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you again, always.
I know. It's so good to see you. So, you guys, we just want to tell you who we are in this first episode of us together and how long we've known each other and why we decided to do this. So I had my first kid in 2005, and I was referred to you by a dear friend that said, if you want the best baby pictures, to go and see Keri Johnson. Keri Johnson is a phenomenal photographer by trade. She is the only photographer that I've ever had. I know I make you kind of like shyish whenever I say this, but
Yes.
she is literally the only photographer that I've ever had that can photograph me and make my just personality come through and shine. I typically am a little bit shy when a still camera is put on me, and she makes me come out. But she photographed my oldest, Zane, 20 years ago. We met. Isn't that so wild,
Yeah,
Keri?
it's wild. I know. To do the senior portraits of the babies that I first started with is even more wild.
Yeah, 18 years later.
Yeah.
I know. It's so crazy. So, and then I opened Cycle Guru, which started out as Time Trial Cycle, and I opened that in 2014, and you walked into the studio.
Because was renting an office upstairs.
Just so
Instead of a
wild.
studio, I was renting an office and then saw you and I'm like, oh yeah. So the universe kept pulling us back together.
The universe, and from that moment when you walked into the studio, it was like love at first sight again. Like I absolutely fell in love with you all over again. And it's more than a friendship with you. You have friends that you're really great friends with, and then you have these soul people that you can talk. My nephew calls it cheap crazy talk. You can have your spiritual talks with, and they get you, and you get me.
Yeah. And you too. Like I remember when my father passed away too, and I took a class that same day, or I think the day before. And you just looked at me and didn't say anything, and then remember that? Did a titty hug.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what to do to like break the ice, you know what I mean? It was just really, I don't know, where people would shy away or not know what to say or whatever. You just embraced me that day, which was, I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my father passed away when I was 21 years old. And I don't know if I ever told you this, but when he passed away, the night before, I'm going to get really vulnerable, and I'm just going to say it. My kids know it, so I don't care if anyone else knows it. I basically, the night before he passed away, I did a lot of drugs, and I felt like I had overdosed and had a near-death experience, and I begged for my life. And I was sinking into the floor, and I felt my soul rising out of me. And I said, please do not let me die before my father passes away. My family cannot handle that. Sure enough, moments later, I felt myself crash back into my body. And then I started like throwing up profusively, and then just was on the floor the rest of the night in the bathroom, just hugging the toilet and becoming one with the tile. And the next night, I got a phone call, and my father passed. I knew when the phone rang that it was my mom. And this is before we had caller ID, right? We didn't have caller ID. I knew that it was my mom. And when I answered the phone, I said, I know, but and I was still really, really hung over from that near death drug
Yeah.
experience that I was like, I know, but there's no way that I can get home right now. Cause I was like, I can't drive 3 hours from Orlando to Immokalee. And she was like, don't worry, your cousin is on his way to pick you up. And so I went home, and the next day I went to the funeral home, and my father was getting cremated, and I saw his body. And I know this sounds crazy, but I saw his spirit leave his body.
I
I saw
believe that.
I saw his spirit leave his body. So this brings it back to you. Whenever you told me that about your dad, I just I wanted to hold you because I knew that experience of no longer having your father around. And sometimes, our fathers become our best friends, especially as we get older.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big pivotal moment in my spiritual life. My deal was is that I would spread the word of spirit. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that, but also I kind of shied away from it because a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah. My friends would say if we were in parking lots and I would be talking my crazy talk or whatever, people would think if they didn't know you, they would think that you were crazy. And I'm like, I know, but it's true. It's true. Whatever situation we were talking about.
When did you know about spirit and about your connection to spirit, universe, God, whatever you want to call it?
I mean, I just keep going back to when I was 8 years old. I just knew something. I just knew that there was something that excited me. And I would just get so excited for it. I didn't know what it was. And then all the adults around said that I was just looking for this fantasy world that didn't exist. So, and I'm like, I just didn't argue with them because I knew in my heart. And then, of course, life took me. And it wasn't then until I got reconnected until after I was needing to get divorced.
How
Right
old were
after.
you when you got divorced?
Well, I mean, that was 16 years after I needed to, but I had another child. But when I first had Kennedy, how old was I? I was 28, I think, when I first had her.
Mm.
And the minute I had her, everything changed. Everything changed. Like, it just wasn't, just so much was going wrong. And I knew I needed to get out of the box immediately. So no one was helping me. I was very angry with the world, with my family, because it seemed like they were only in for the good things, only in for the graduations and the weddings and the parties and the birthdays, but no one was in for the last 3 boxes I had to check alone, like, oh, divorce. Nope, nope, nope. We don't want to hear about that. So I was like, okay, I'm pivoting and doing it my way now. And so I connected again with God. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've got this baby. What am I going to do? And then the little breadcrumbs kept coming. I would hear something. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'd get oh, well, okay. But I was getting the breadcrumb and then walking, doing it. Okay, what's next? What's next? What's next?
I love that. So what you're saying is you get the information and you took action.
Yes. Yes. And it was almost like I was rewarded with something else then. I'm like, great idea. Okay, then I'm doing that like tomorrow, or I stay up until midnight but I was excited to do it. It's not something that I wasn't excited to do. So it opened a passion of mine that I didn't even know or a talent that I had no idea I even had. I did not have any training in photography,
You started
marketing.
photography without any training whatsoever?
I had a camera and a baby, and I kept going, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I was just that was the first real camera I had.
And why were you saying is it because you needed to support yourself financially? Like what was going on?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I just kept saying, and she wouldn't sleep. So I'm like, well, then we're just going to have a little photo shoot. I guess I wanted to dress her up in the flowers because Ann Getty's was big then. And I'm like, oh, I
Oh.
wish we had an Ann Getty studio here. And I'm like, well, but we don't. Well, then why don't I become that? So that's kind of then how it started to unfold like that.
I mean, you're in a
Divinely guided, blessed all the way. Like, I can't even tell you. That's the only thing, the power of God. Anything I thought of. And that's when then the manifesting was coming in. I was like, anything I speak, it's coming in. Like, I was connected so well that accelerated manifesting, good or bad. Bad things too. So I was like, what is happening? And I remember calling my dad. I'm like, what is this called? When you're speaking something and it comes, oh, no one knew. And I'm like, but the bad things are happening too. So I was scaring myself because I'm like, okay, I'm Italian. So yelling and, you know, I want a divorce and I want this and I want that. Oh, you know, oh, here you go, here you go, here you go. Serve you up, serve you up. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? So I needed to figure out what it was to keep the bad out and to accelerate the good. So then I was on a hunt to figure out what it was. And then I was just, again, divinely guided to The Secret.
At what age did you discover The Secret?
29 probably.
I was 27, 28 when I discovered The Secret too.
And I was like,
And do you know that
there's something
29
to
is your
this.
Saturn return?
What?
It's 29, 28, 29, 30 is your Saturn return. So in your Saturn return, it's a big shift that happens in your life. And it's so interesting that around 29, you discovered The Secret, because discovering The Secret and learning it and really embodying it is a practice. I mean, it goes against everything that you were taught. Like, what religion were you raised in?
Catholic.
Oh, well, there you go. You
Yeah.
know, like, I mean,
So you couldn't talk to anybody about it because they didn't understand what you're talking about, or it was too woo woo. And I'm like, what's woo woo? What does that mean? You know, I'm like, I didn't understand any of it. I was just very naive. And then I was just like, oh my God, this is the fantasy world that I've been looking for. Like, it resonated so much. I'm like, oh, there's something to it. You know, I was happy to find out that there was actually something to it. So then I wanted to perfect it. I wanted to learn it. But then, of course, life took me again, and I kind of forgot about it. So it went on the shelf for a little bit, and then
isn't that interesting how sometimes all of our inner knowing, something happens in our life and shifts, and we forget that inner knowing. Like, for instance, I had complete inner knowing from when Zane was born, 2005, for a very, very long time, maybe to 2018, when I had another near death experience. And when I came out of that near death experience, I was like, F this. I do not want to be in this human experience. And it's like, I forgot everything. And it took me from 2018 to 2022 to really get my remembrance back. And, you know, COVID happened. And during that time, we still hung out, and you were really, really great remembrance. But it was a little secret that I was living with, of not being happy in the human experience and really being like, this is not fun. And not until 2022 when I went to Joe Dispenza. So I had forgotten for 4 years that spirit was my partner. Yeah, I mean, spirit would come in at times. Like, I remember November 2018, spirit, me sitting on the floor and being like, I'm so alone on Thanksgiving. And spirit saying, you're never alone. If you're alone, you're the one that left. I was like, okay, I'm not alone. You're here to guide me. Just keep guiding me. But it was really still not until 2022 did I start that back to remembrance. And now I remember. I
that was
don't
a tough
remember it
time,
all.
though. That was
Yeah,
a tough time,
that
even
was.
before COVID, too. Like, whenever the market crashed, you know, market crashed. I was doing really well in my business. Market crashed right after I signed the paper, the ink,
Mm.
my divorce papers. I'm like, oh, okay. Now all my moms are on budgets. I owe him
Yeah.
all the money. I'm like, what are we going to do? And nothing was working. Nothing was working. So throughout my life, I've had so many moments where I've had to command that I'm not doing this alone.
Okay.
I am not doing this alone. This is chapter 2.
command I'm not doing this alone? Who are you commanding you're not doing this alone with?
Well, like you were saying that you were feeling alone, and then Spirit said you're not alone. I felt alone. I felt robbed of life, like I was
Mm.
so pissed. And I'll be alone, fine, but I'm not doing this shit alone. I'm not doing the bankruptcies and the foreclosures and the divorce, and it just felt like the piranhas were after me, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'll work and I'll be your body down here, but no, find me, and I would just be like, find me help, da 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 da, whatever. I was commanding in my room, just going off. And all of a sudden, I had this vision of like how you would imagine God, very calm, very serene, as I'm just raging. And it said, we were just waiting for you to ask. We've been here. We're just waiting for you to ask. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I'll just ask next time instead of freak out.
Yeah, isn't I mean that's part of spirit, right? Spirit wants us to ask. And and in that asking, it wants us to trust.
Yes. Oh, and then we go into something else too that happened, another meltdown that I had, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm like in front of the girls. I'm like, I am so I was exhausted. Just I'm tired of this. I'm done. And they're like, you need a nap. We don't want you to come out until our mom is back. Like, this is not who you are. This is not how you speak. This is not how. I'm like, I just was just done. I'm done speaking about it. I'm done believing it. I'm done. And I went to go lay down. It was like 3 in the afternoon, and all these slides were coming through. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. I've never been able to recognize one, but there's sometimes all these slides keep going. They're so fast going through my mind. I'm like, I'm not even looking, listening. I don't care what you have to say to me. I'm done. I'm not listening. And all of a sudden I heard trust with no emotion. And I was out for an hour. Trust with no emotion. I didn't say that. That's not something I say or believe. So I thought that was so interesting too. The emotion that we put against or attach to things.
The emotion that we attach to things is everything.
Yep.
If we think, oh, I'm going to get in a car accident today, and we like feel it and we feel so much fear in it, there's a possibility you're going to get in a car accident.
Yep.
Like you're attracting it.
Yep.
If you think I am so abundant and I like love my abundance, and I've been feeling that lately. Like I just love my abundance, and someone bought me lunch last week on Saturday,
More
or
things
Sunday.
coming. Yeah.
Someone bought me lunch. The other day, you bought me coffee. And when someone does that, it is the universe saying, you are right. You are abundant. And when someone offers something, accept it.
Yes.
Because when you don't accept it, the universe is like, wait, we just tried to give you and show you your abundance and you're not accepting
Yep.
it. Like you accept it and say, thank you. Say thank you. That not only to them, say thank you to your universe for
Yep.
showing you that which you desire and presenting that which you desire. So,
Unraveling everything that we were taught and accepting the spiritual laws. Like that's
there are so many people out there, not to toot my own horn. And the only reason why I am not like this is because back when I was 30, I have this friend. We went on a trip to New York. She bought me one of those bags that are on the streets, and it was not a real Dolce & Gabbana. She came back to the place that we were staying and gave me this bag and said, when I saw this bag, I thought of you, and I wanted to get it for you. And I said, oh, no, I don't need that. Thank you. That's so kind of you, but I don't need that. It's okay. And she looked at me and she said, Charla, the basic principle of giving is receiving. To give is to receive. To receive is to give.
Yep.
And she said, and if you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. Accept it and then give it to someone else. And I was like, Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're so right. And the thing is, at the time, I was studying Kabbalah extensively. And she just like me in the face, like Kabbalistically, because I was like, oh my God, that is like a basic principle of Kabbalah is to receive. Because when you receive, you are giving.
Yes.
Because the person that is giving to you thought of you
Yep.
and actually put themselves aside and put you before them. And it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
Why would you want to deny their gift and make them feel bad?
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, so
Yeah.
and the universe says, especially when you say I'm abundant and you feel it, the universe will give you gifts. Maybe it'll give you money. I mean, I get that too, but it'll also give you gifts from other people,
Yep. Yep. It comes
So
through people, right? So people like throughout my coaching and everything for years, people have been wanting things, manifesting things, wanting things, and then all of a sudden they're not they're like not opening the door. And that, obviously it's easier to see from an outsider or whatever, and I'm like, that, where do you think it's going to come from? Like, it's not going to drop out of the sky. Well, it could, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, you have to be open to other people
and all the
helping you.
possibilities.
All of us are angels to each other. All of us are,
We are. We
hmm
are all angels to each other.
but it's like, we were taught so many things that were wrong, not because of anything other than the people taught us didn't know any different, because that's what they
Right.
were taught,
Right.
and the new paradigm is not to listen to any of that stuff. you know be proud of yourself and celebrate is another one. That's
Yeah.
another block that blocks people from manifesting, because you're not going to appreciate it because you're bragging. Don't brag. It's not, no, you celebrate your wins, and everyone, you know what I mean?
Celebrate your wins
Yeah.
for sure. And also realize that there's another marathon ahead of you.
Yeah.
So celebrate those wins and draw on those wins when the next marathon or mountain that you are climbing or trying to go after seems difficult. Remind yourself that you have done hard things before.
Yeah.
I was actually just talking to the two boys, Dylan and Avi, the other night, and Dylan said, "I just don't understand why people go and work out."
Which one said that?
Dylan, the middle kid, he's like, "I just do not understand why people would go and work out and do that to themselves."
Purposely, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, I think they're robbing their life. They put all of this emphasis on going to the gym when they could be doing other things in their life. And I said, actually, Dylan, the reason why a lot of people go to the gym is because when they're done, they feel like they accomplished something that is super hard. From that, they're able to draw on that experience throughout the rest of the day. They look at themselves and say, oh, I worked out. I accomplished something today. If I worked out, I can do XYZ because I already worked out.
Yep.
It is drawing on the past to give you energy to keep moving forward because you're like, I've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
I've already ran the marathon. I know how hard it is. I can do it again, or I can, if I want to do it. I never want to run another marathon ever again.
No. No.
Like, no, thank you. New York was enough. Okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, I only want to run when I'm playing tag. Um, and then I will sprint as fast as I can because those little kids are not going to catch me. But anyways, so yeah, drawing on your past accomplishments and really being able to say, I did this and I can do more is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Refocusing, I guess. And we do vision boards, whatever, but the hindsight board is very good too. At
wait,
the end,
what are you talking? I've never heard about hindsight board.
at the end of every month, the first of the new month, you go back to that previous month and count up all your wins. Count up all your
Oh,
anything new that has come in, and then you'll see the abundance.
I
Instead
love
of,
that.
if you don't, you just look like you're not getting anywhere, or every month's the same, when really it's not.
No, it's not. I really focused on abundance in August, just, just about bringing abundance in. And I kept getting deposits.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really, and I kept getting refunds for stuff.
Oh,
Which I
yeah.
was like, this is great. I love a refund.
That's funny.
Yeah, I love that hindsight, looking at the past. And
Yeah.
when did you do your first vision board?
My first vision board, probably with the girls, I think, when they were
Yeah.
little. I just did a lot in my mind, and I would write things too. I remember even in college, I would just speak things. No, no, I want that. No, I don't want that. Like, I don't know. It was something that was just came naturally to me. But one thing, I'm going to get vulnerable here for a second. When I moved, after I graduated college, I moved to Chicago to work at the Mercantile Exchange. And I was like an ARB clerk, and I'm like, I won't be happy until I understand the language down there, because it was so chaotic, and they were using their hands as hand signals to signal to the clerks and the night brokers behind me, like trading. So all of a sudden I saw a wart on my, or something, I didn't know what it was, a wart on my finger. And I'm like, that's weird. And then all of a sudden the next day there was another one, because fingers were touching. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm using my fingers. The more I panicked about it and stressed, the more they were showing up. Like, I'm like, what is happening here? Went to doctors. I was using acid sticks. I was trying anything and everything to get rid of them. Now I have like 10 of them, five. I'm like, what is happening? Had no idea what was going on. They just kept multiplying like rabbits. And I'm like, I was having Band-Aids on my fingers because I was so embarrassed to go to work that way. And finally, I'm like, here's it. We're going to have a come to Jesus moment. I sat down, I looked at my fingers, and I was like, I appreciate you guys, guys for showing up, but no, this is not going to work. Everybody must leave. You must leave. You must go. You must go now. And they were gone within a week.
Wow.
My hands were cleared up. So I'm like, I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, it's like I get to these points of like, I won't say desperation, but the end of the road. And then it's always been talking to myself or talking to God, or, like it just brings me back to that moment with anything. So I've always remembered that.
Yeah. Yeah. Telling it to go away.
So with anything, like we were talking the other day, I had two things on my neck a while ago. I
Oh,
told you,
yeah. You
right?
told me
One
that.
inside, one outside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like what, spider bite, like cysts? What is going on? And I get all freaked out. And then I'm like, wait a second, why do I have these? Like asking your body, what's happening? What is your body trying to tell you? Well, and I had an issue with my landlord inside, she owned the house. So she was my inside pain in the ass. And then my neighbor was my outside pain in the ass. I'm surprised they showed up on my neck instead of my ass. I'm like, because they were worse than a pain in the neck. But anyway,
Yeah.
the minute I recognized that, they went away within a week.
They went away within a week. Yeah. Dr. Joe talks about that we can heal our body. I feel like
Yeah.
I healed my body through Dr. Joe's work and through sitting in meditation and seeing my body healed.
Yep.
There was a long time there where I could not work out the way that I wanted to and do the things that I wanted to. Going to his retreat, June 2022, everything really shifted for
Wow.
me. Yeah. And so our mind is really, really powerful.
Yep.
Our mind is super powerful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've learned obviously a lot since meeting you and then going through all that stuff. When there's no one there to help you, how do you move forward? You connect with your inside and up. Like you just connect.
You
And magic
know,
happens. Like it just
and that is what I have always admired about you. When 2020 happened, the way that you pivoted, maybe it wasn't with a lot of ease, but it looked like it was with a lot of ease, because you were like, oh, no more photography sessions, no more people wanting photography, no more acting, because you are a model and an actress and have been on numerous photo shoots yourself, not just being a photographer, but being the subject of the photography. You pivoted so incredibly. And I am so amazed at how you pivoted and what you did. Like you were like, okay, God, universe, if this is how it's supposed to be. Show me what to do next. And you did it and you're rocking at
Yeah,
it.
it wasn't
So
easy. Yeah, it was not. It might have looked easy, and again, I've had people say, "Oh, you can't. Don't complain about that. Don't tell me that you're nervous because you look fine." I'm like, okay, so I look fine, but panic attacks every time came on beforehand.
really,
Hives came on every time before it, but the minute I got on, I was, the minute I spoke, it became more comfortable, but I couldn't wait till I stopped it. I couldn't wait until it was over. I couldn't wait till I didn't have to do that anymore.
how did you? Okay, so for people that don't know, Keri Johnson is a social media influencer. You're an influencer. You have a pretty big following. And how did you know to pivot to how you pivoted?
To that part, like where
Yeah.
I'm at now,
Yeah.
well, I went online, I did the coaching in 2020, and then that was too much energy. So then I just had to stop that. And then I went back to photography for a little bit and did the 40 over 40 campaign.
Yeah, which was great. That was so
Yeah,
much
that
fun.
was fun. That was a nice little, yeah. And then that became a lot. And then telling my story because I still was going through some bumps, trying to move and just figure some things out without trying to move without the appropriate credit score, or you know what I mean. Things were still not settled. It was there, but then like things were still. I was just still balancing things, and then I just wanted to tell my story. Like, okay, I know what I want, and I'm not really dealing with credit because God doesn't deal with credit. I'm not dealing with money because God doesn't deal with money.
No.
However, that doesn't mean I need to move into a box. I'm still moving into a luxury place. That's just what it is. So find it, figure it out, and and the minute I got in my car and I started driving somewhere out of the zip code I wanted to be in, I'm like, "What are you doing? Turn around, go back. You're not doing that." Anytime I looked at something that had no garage and I needed a garage, I'm like, "Stop looking. Stop. Don't even no." So I waited. I just waited, and the perfect place came in. And 3 different times, no one's ever asked during that time for references, for credit scores, for nothing. So you don't need anything in order to get what you want other than your faith and your desire.
Faith and desire.
Yeah. So then it made me, it filled me up then to get back on doing videos, not getting paid for it, but just sharing stories like that. Well, let's see how this turns out. This is what's happening. Let's see where I end up. Let's see what place will become available for me. And then to also share products, just because then at that point, being in front of the camera brought me bliss when I felt anxious. I
Mm.
don't know why. It turned into that, and then I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if we get paid for it now. And that was how many years ago when I just couldn't wait to stop doing it, and then it just turned into now what it is.
Yeah, which you're such a natural at it. And
Now
you
I
have,
like it. Yeah, now
yeah,
I like it.
you have people asking you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
People
which is,
reaching out to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That feels good.
How have you overcome fear? I mean, did you ever go to fear? Because that's a lot of trusting.
I went to fear, but I knew it wasn't going to get me anywhere.
Yeah, because it
So
doesn't
then I would
move.
immediately bounce back to, nope, you got this. Of course I was fearful, like, shoot, like, but there, there were always signs. Like I would ask for, just show me something so I can just calm down or whatever. And then I would also go to this very moment. In this very moment, everything's fine. In this very moment, everything's fine. I'm safe. I've always been safe. I will always be safe. So if fear comes up, it's not real because in this moment I'm fine.
Right. That okay. I hope everyone heard that statement.
Yeah.
Fear is not real because in this moment right now, everything is fine. It doesn't matter what happened 10 minutes ago. Right now, everything is fine.
Yep.
Everything is fine. That's
Every
so powerful.
everything is fine. And knowing what I know about the universe and the blessings, things can change for the positive in a second. You could get a phone call, you can get an email. Things are always working for you behind the scenes. So I always keep that in my mind, even when things don't look like they're working for you.
Yeah.
They are. They are. Yeah.
Yeah, they totally are. I mean, I feel that all the time.
Hmm.
I ask I ask the heavens above to just imbue me with their light and their love and let me focus on that because that is what's real. The light and love from God, universe, divine light. That is what is real.
A lot of people don't think that they can ask. And I've heard this so many times. Even my brother said it the other day. I don't want to use up my blessings. Like we only get 2 or 3 wishes or whatever. Like I don't want to bother them. Angels. I don't want to use it up. And I'm like, man, they're, all day, every day. They want you to ask all day for small things, for big things. Thank them. Like it's just having that relationship with,
Knowing that they're always available.
yeah, you don't have to wait. And asking for a parking spot or a free cup of coffee isn't too small, you
No. And
know?
that's part of the game.
Yeah.
They want to show you that just to show you, okay, if that's all that you're asking, sure, I'll give that to you. Like,
Yep.
if that's what it takes for you to believe,
Yep.
sure, I'll give it to you. And that's what it takes for you to get in joy. Sure, we'll go there.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it's just, I mean, the things that I've had to go through, I mean, everyone's gone through their own stuff, but has just led me to that stronger faith, the knowing, the amazement of the things that have come in when they shouldn't have come in, but they only came in because I had faith that they were going to.
And faith is so essential
Hmm.
in life. Faith is so essential. Keri, I am super excited for us to share energy through each episode and just give remembrance. When we were sitting at Barnes and Nobles and we were talking about this podcast, and I said, collective guidance is just giving remembrance and letting people know that they're not alone and just showing up
Yeah.
for each other and just giving that remembrance. And you were like, yeah, Charla, it is because there's so much of it needed right now. And if we can just provide that, I am super excited.
I'm super excited too. I just don't want people to think that they're going through something alone because nothing they're going through is unique. It might be unique to them, but there are what, 10 things? About 10 foreclosure, divorces, like illnesses, you know what I mean? Like we've all experienced it. So for people hiding that in shame, like forget that, forget the shame, forget the judgments, forget the embarrassment, because you're just naming it something. If you don't name it that, you don't have to claim it as that.
If you don't name it, you don't have to claim it. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's new. This is one thing I taught too. Everything's neutral. Every situation's neutral until you put an emotion on it.
1000%. The circumstance is the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
The emotion is the emotion. And the thought regarding the circumstance is the circumstance. Like if like my kids are arguing over who's going to get to drive what car. And this is the circumstance, right? We only have 3 cars and there's 3 kids and no one wants to drive my car. And so the circumstances, there's really only 2 cars for 3 kids. And they're putting all of this emotion and all of this judgment opinions on it. And I'm like, settle down. I'm like, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. We're going to work it out. Like, there's no reason for everyone to be going
Yeah.
crazy about it. Like,
Right.
and it is the emotion that we put to something deter it, and even the emotion that we put towards it determines the outcome of it a lot of times.
Right. Right. Yeah.
If we step away and say, huh, that's interesting. I wonder how this is all going to work out.
Yeah.
And then let it go and not choose to be like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I am feeling a little bit of XYZ, but that's just, my ego edging God out because God knows that everything's going to be fine. Spirit
Mm-hmm.
knows
Mm-hmm.
everything's going to work out. So there's no reason to put that emotion towards it. Though it's ego, it's human, it's natural.
And it's a practice. It's a daily practice.
It's
A
a daily
daily practice to keep
and
your head in the game.
and it's a catching yourself in the moment
Mm-hmm.
or right after the moment. I've had a lot of conversations with a dear friend of mine about they feel that they're too passionate about work and people are taking it too personal. And I said, well, the great thing is that you're having the awareness. The awareness is the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then taking action is next. But awareness is the first step. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
I
super
love it.
excited
Good stuff.
for if you guys liked this episode, please follow Keri and I, and we're gonna meet, we're gonna post once a week. And maybe we'll even post like more content online, but follow us at collectiveguidance.com. You can find us on all streaming platforms and share this episode, like it, subscribe, follow us on social media, Collective Guidance. You can follow Keri Johnson at what's your Instagram handle again, Keri?
The Keri Johnson.
The Keri, Keri Johnson.
Yep.
And she created this incredible clothing line called Just Saying with Love. We're going to put that in the show notes too if you guys want to check that out. It is spiritual wear that imbues nothing but love, and she built it out of love for her father.
Yeah.
So
So many
um,
stories around that too. Yeah.
yeah, so Keri is, and they can check you out on your website too. What's your website, Keri?
Don't have one currently.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. So, check her out on Instagram, TikTok. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She'll
Thank
make
you.
you laugh. She's so funny in her episodes. And we hope you guys have a great day. And thank you so much for listening. And we look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me today on Collective Guidance. I hope you feel lighter, more inspired, and deeply connected to your own path. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Collective Guidance or our website, collectiveguidance.com. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, may you walk with clarity, courage, joy, and love.